fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, WIP, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat, or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Today, I am going to be working on my Christmas bunny. I have been working on this for a while, and a large portion of it is already done. But what's mostly done is the outside because I was waiting for my order of pixie dust drills to arrive, which they did. So I got 5 packages of pixie dust, and I have my 3 gray/silver ones that I wanted to use. So those have come in time for me to finish like all the flowers and the silver accents and everything that are in the kit. So that's good. I have 1 pixie dust and 1 AB left from my original set, ones that I already had extras of. I've used up the rest of this fairy dust and these 2 ABs. I showed you the 3 silver ones. I also ordered 2 other pixie dust. Now this particular red, because I was waiting on the pixie dust to arrive and because red is so much of the outer ones, the outer colors, I had already decided that for this particular color, that I would just go ahead and use the drills that they gave me and I would just save the pixie dust for later. So I'm not actually going to be using this pixie dust. The other color was another red that there is a ton of, and it's this very, very dark brick red. And so I ordered the same DMC color for these drills. Here's what you sometimes run into. These 2 colors are not the same. These are like a deep dark red. These look purple. Now, I'm sure the backs of them are maybe some sort of red, but they appear purple. And dye lots can differ from company to company, so this is not anything wrong with the drills that I ordered or anything like that. This is just what you sometimes run into and why people keep spares with different colors mixed in, because if all I had was 814 this color and I needed to complete a kit with 814 this color, then if I didn't have any spares, I might never be able to finish the kit, or I would have to wait for the company to send me some more. And if it's an older kit, because it sometimes takes me literally a couple of years to get to one, then that can be interesting. So I won't be using those pixie dust drills either, which means where I had left those blank, I'm going to be going back in and filling in with the drills that came with the kit. So that's the section I'm going to be working on today. So kind of a long intro, but I just wanted to explain why I would be using some of the pixie dust drills I ordered and not the other ones. Nothing wrong with those pixie dust drills. Just one I had already decided not to use, and the other one ended up not matching. The 3 silver ones I think look really good, what I've completed so far. So yeah. All right, let me zoom in to where I'm going to be working and let's get started. So you can see here, this section is already completed. I kind of have my cover paper covering up the little pieces where I hadn't done anything because I was waiting on my fairy dust drills. But then you can see also down here this red that I had left thinking that I would have pixie dust drills to sprinkle in when my order arrived. Since I don't, I'm now just going to fill this in with the color that came with the kit. So that's where I'm going to start. All right, let me get my timer started here, and then I'm just going to start filling in this red. Okay, and I apologize in advance. This may be a very rambly WIP and chat because my brain is kind of on overload at the moment. As you all know, I have a lot going on and I just got some more things added to my plate. It's been a week. So let me start with my life update as per usual. What's been going on in my regular life? More than I would like, if I'm honest, but that's life sometimes, right? We're still in the process of packing, selling things, donating things, all of that kind of stuff. We actually have moved some items into the trailer, so it feels like the move is ever closer. So that's good. I still don't know if we're going to have enough room. And I was actually visiting with my sister, and she's like, you know, you don't have to do all this in one trip. You guys could put some stuff in a storage unit and then make a second trip and come back for it. And we could. I just don't want to. I feel like for me, I just want to, when we go, we go, and we don't need to come back here other than for like visits and stuff. We're not coming back to finalize anything. We're not coming back to pick more stuff up. We don't know how much room we're going to have. I mean, a lot of the stuff we currently won't need anyway in the rental because the rental is fully furnished. Not that we were taking a ton of furniture to begin with, but we won't need it. And it seems silly, especially without knowing what kind of room we're going to have in the new place, to take a bunch of stuff with us without knowing whether or not it would even work in that space. Because my husband and I both, because we have the rental and we know we have a place to live for the foreseeable future while we house hunt, we thought, well, we might be tempted to get someplace that was a little bit less expensive than we had been looking at, but that needs a little bit of work. And then we could spend the time, if hubby doesn't go back to work until after the first of the year, we could spend the time fixing it up ourselves and doing, we didn't buy anything that needed huge amounts of renovation or anything, but just something maybe that was a little dated that we wouldn't mind painting cabinets or replacing some fixtures or painting or something like that, putting down some new flooring, things that are in within our capabilities, but that would add some value to the house that we could do ourselves. So it's going to be a process of figuring all of that out. It's funny how some things sell really quickly and some things don't. I told you guys hubby has been putting stuff up on Facebook Marketplace. Things that we think will sell really quickly don't. And things that we think will take forever to sell really quickly. So I guess we should just assume that whatever we think is wrong, because that seems to be what happens. So after the roof inspection and all of that mess, hubby decided to put up my car, which had actually been up for a week or so before that, I think, but had no interest in it, and our couch and our recliner. We had a dual recliner love seat. And he said, well, let's put these up because he thought they would take a while to sell. The recliner, because it was electric, was super heavy. We thought it would take a while for the couch to sell, and the car had already been up for a couple of weeks, although at a higher price. We did lower the price of it. And last weekend, we sold the couch, the recliners, and my car. The couch and recliners was fine, other than we now have nothing to sit on other than our dining room table chairs. My husband literally brought in lawn chairs from the garage for us to sit on. So it looks like we're living in a bachelor pad / college dorm. Probably not even as good as a college dorm because most college dorms comes with chairs, right? Anyway, so my car is gone. We are now officially a one car family, which I don't think that's ever happened to me since before I got married. When I was still living with my parents, I had my own car. So, yeah, that's been interesting. I mean, it's been okay because hubby is not working, so he's around to play chauffeur, but it takes a little bit of getting used to. And also, the car that we sold was my dad's car, so it was sad to see it go. I cried when it left. I mean, it wouldn't have been a good car for Canada weather. It was an older car. I mean, it was almost 20 years old. I got a lot of good driving and memories out of it, and I will always have those. But it was kind of like an end of an era all over again. So that was a bit difficult. But we made some decent money off of it. So that money will be going to help defray moving costs and whatever other things we need to cover between now and then. We just paid the registration on that car, had just gotten a new license plate. That was an adventure in and of itself. So we got the new license plate, and literally within a week we sold the car. So we go down to the DMV so that we can turn in the tag. Because if you're not from the States, I don't know if it's like this in every state, but here in my state, the tag stays with the owner. It does not stay with the car. So I signed over the title to the person that bought the car. They then have to go get it registered wherever they live, pay sales tax on the purchase price, and get the registration and license plate. so that it shows them as the registered owner of that vehicle now. And I take my old plate in and they issue me a refund for the registration that I paid for the year that I'm now not going to be using because I don't own the car anymore. So we're getting a nice chunk of change back from that, which was good. But the day that we went to go take care of that, as we're walking in, somebody was walking out. He saw the tag in my hand and he said, if you're going into the DMV for title stuff, their computers are down. And I was like, oh man. Because we have to drive into the next city over to take care of that because that's where all of that stuff is. The town where I live is too small to have any offices like that. So we had two other errands to run. Oh, we were going to go to the post office as well. And when we did that, we realized it was lunchtime for the post office, so the post office wasn't open. So it was kind of a bust, that trip into town. So we went back in the next day and got it done. So we're getting money back from the registration and we're getting money back from the insurance that we paid because we just paid insurance on all the cars last month for another 6 months. So that money is coming back. So that's a little bit of money back in our coffers for the move, like I said. So now he's in the process of putting more furniture and things up. We have a buffet that belonged to my mom that is huge, solid wood, really nice piece of furniture, but it's heavy and I don't have the use for it. So that's going to go. We've got things like end tables and lamps and bookcases and nightstands and dressers because, again, we just don't know. We don't need them in the short term and we don't know in the long term if we would have room for them anyway. So it just seems to make more sense, especially since space is at a premium in the trailer, to go ahead and get rid of those items. And if we can sell them and make a little bit of moving money, that's something hubby and I were talking about too, was as we drive cross country, of course, we're going to be using more gas than normal because the car will be pulling a heavily loaded trailer. And we will also need to stop and stay in hotels. And I would really like, I don't know if we're going to do this or not. I would like to do this. We'll have to see what it's like wherever we decide to stop because I think we're going to do this trip kind of by the seat of our pants sort of thing, not plan it all out beforehand and know exactly where we're going to stop. Just drive until we feel like stopping and then get a hotel wherever we're stopped at. But I would like to, the last time we did this trip, my son and husband and I all stayed in one hotel room just to save on expenses, which is fine. It's not a huge deal for us to stay in a hotel room, but my son is in his 20s. He doesn't need to stay in the same room with hubby and I, and just kind of being in that forced proximity, even though it's not going to be for very long, I would like to have enough money that we could get separate hotel rooms next to each other, but separate so that we could have our own space. My son complained a lot about all the snoring when he had to stay with us on the last trip. And I said, well, I know my husband snores super loudly, especially if he's tired. The more tired he is, the louder he is. I refuse to admit that I snore, but my son does. I said to him, you're not any less loud than anyone else in the room. You're just asleep, so you don't notice it. But I would like to, like I said, if possible, have him in his own room. But that adds to expenses, so we'll just have to see. He was thrilled with that idea. So yeah, just on the getting ready to move front, a lot of stuff going on there. We have also disassembled some things and put them in the trailer. Like I said, we have put a bunch of my husband's work stuff that he's not currently using in the trailer. He has like 4 heavy totes of work gear, tools, rain gear, winter gear, climbing harnesses, gloves, that sort of stuff. So that's already in there. I emptied out my cedar chest and we put that in there. We knew that was going to be a big item, so we wanted to at least get it in the trailer and see visually how much room it was going to take up. We are going to be packing things into the cedar chest, obviously. It wouldn't make any sense to pack it empty, but we still have lots of things to go through first until we do that. However, we did also disassemble my adjustable diamond painting table. So I am now currently set up at our kitchen table, our dining room table. We put the leaf in it so there is extra room, and I am currently occupying one end of it as I diamond paint. We do have a couple of folding tables that we used. We have them set up in the basement back when we were playing D&D in person. So those will be going with us, I think, because they're foldable, so they collapse and they don't take up very much room. But I think I will be setting one of those up to diamond paint on at some point because we're getting rid of pretty much all the other tables. The kitchen table is not up for sale yet, but it will be. So I won't have that to diamond paint on either. My desk in here that I use to film with is getting sold. My computer desk will be getting sold. So I'm going to have to start migrating things from my desktop that I currently use with my portable hard drive for all of my filming and keeping all of my video files and all of that to my laptop, which won't be a big deal. I've worked from my laptop before with videos and stuff when we were on the road, but it is not an ideal way to work for me. I like having a big, large monitor, which is what I have for my PC, so am not looking forward to going to my small laptop screen, but needs must, right? We've got to get things packed. And hubby and I were talking about packing our electronics inside the cedar chest just because it's nice and big and sturdy, and if anything should shift or move around, then those things would be protected from getting crushed by anything should anything untoward happen. We haven't actually done that yet, and I'm pretty sure my son is going to resist packing up his PC until the last moment because he spends a lot of his time gaming on it, and that is not something he can do with his laptop. His laptop is not powerful enough to run some of the games that he plays, so all I need mine for is videos and things, so it's not that big of a deal. And my hard drive is portable, so I can just pack it with my laptop, and then I have plenty of space for all of the files that I need to work with and whatnot. So, and I need to get used to using my new camera. I've been so used to using my phone, and my phone is just so much easier, but it's easier here where we're set up at home, and I can just airdrop things because my phone and my PC are both Macs. If we're out on the road, using my other camera makes more sense because then instead of trying to use internet service because hotel Wi-Fi is terrible, it takes forever to transfer video files, especially when they're big. Airdropping them goes so much faster instead of trying to do it over crappy hotel slow Wi-Fi or using up my phone data. I have done it with my phone data before and I can do it, but not with super long videos like WIP and chats would be too long for me to want to do that. The other camera has a memory card, so I could just use a card reader to download it directly to the computer, which seems like it would save a step. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. But then there's the logistics of figuring out how am I going to do all of this while I travel? Do I want to do all this while I travel? I do have the option of pre-filming some things so that there is content already for you guys to go and I don't have to worry about filming while we're traveling. And I've done that before too, but that depends on a lot of other factors as well. So yeah, it's still at the moment just a kind of play it by ear thing as we pack up. We are going to be spending some time, quality time this week, a significant chunk of time this week, bringing everything up from the basement so that basically the basement is empty except for my son's room, and sorting through everything and figuring out really what's going to stay, what's going to go. All right, I think I filled in all of the red, so now I can start filling in with all of my pixie dust drills here. Other things going on in my regular life. Still no update on the roof repairs. We've gotten money from the insurance to say that they will pay for half of the roof. In fact, it was kind of funny because my husband's been dealing with the insurance company. It's kind of interesting to get to watch him act like clueless Canadian. I've never had to do this before, which isn't really an act. He's not had to do this before. We've never had an insurance claim with our cars or house while he's been here. However, some of the stuff just doesn't make any sense to him. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me either. That's just the way it works. Basically, they said they would pay for half the roof. And we're like, but we've been told we need a whole roof. And the insurance people have said, oh, we'll just have your contractor do the whole roof. And then whenever he gets finished, he can send us documentation of why he felt he needed to do the whole roof. And I told my husband, no, I'm not doing that, because that means the work is already done. And if the insurance says no, because they don't believe it needed a whole new roof, regardless of what the roofer says, then we're on the hook for coming up with the rest of that money. And our inspection said it needed repaired. It did not say that it needed an entire new roof. So we would be within the bounds of our inspection if we just repaired what the insurance has given us money for. Of course, the roofer doesn't want to do that because he thinks it needs an entirely new roof. And if he's going to come out here to do it, he'd rather just do the job all at once and be done rather than do half the roof and then come back whenever and do the rest of it. For me personally, hopefully we don't own the house by the time the rest of the roof needs fixed. So it's kind of a down the road problem for me, because we can say, well, our insurance looked at it and said this is all we needed to do, and that's what we did. And the insurance can't really say anything because we asked and you said no, right? But they called my husband because they're like, we have this money for you to repair the half we've okayed. And he said, yeah, but we don't want to do it yet. We don't want you guys to send us anything because we're still trying to get it worked out for you guys to pay us for the whole roof, because we think we need a whole total re-roof. The lady on the phone was getting really frustrated with him because I guess there's some law about how quickly they have to disperse funds. And she's like, I have to send you this money. And if we didn't set it up so that they could deposit it directly in our bank account, then they would mail us a paper check. And she said, that's just going to take longer because then the check has to be cut, it has to get mailed to you, you have to wait to cash it, blah, blah, blah. And my husband's like, but we're still, and she's like, I know, but I have to send you this money by the end of the day today. And he's like, this is the dumbest system. And I'm like, welcome to America. This is how insurance works here, I guess. So I guess at least it's good we got the money up front so we can repair what we need to repair, if that's what we need to do, even if it's only half, and be done. The roofer is supposed to be working with the insurance and the adjuster to figure it all out. They were all going to be figuring it out early in the week. We've heard nothing this week at all from anybody, so I don't think it's probably going well. But like I said, I'm trying not to worry about it. I'm just like, we have the half. If that's all we get done, that's what we get done. It is what it is. I don't have the bandwidth currently to think about it. So we've just kind of said, guys, take care of it, right? We do have things going on this weekend besides worrying about our roof. We still haven't sold the lot. We think we have someone who's going to buy it. Not the person we originally thought was going to buy it. That apparently fell through, but now somebody else might be interested in it. So that would be some extra money in our coffers as well. Because the move is getting ever closer, my nephew asked my sister if we could celebrate Canadian Thanksgiving this year because we might be gone before November Thanksgiving. So he wanted us to come over and celebrate Thanksgiving, which is fine. So we're going over today to celebrate Canadian Thanksgiving with them, which is technically tomorrow. So happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian watchers. I think I looked up at one point why Canada's Thanksgiving is in October, but I've already forgotten why that is. It's Columbus Day here in the States, which everyone acts like a holiday, but really isn't. The only people who get it off are government workers. So if you work in a bank, if you work for the post office, if you work for the court system, you get the day off. If you work for city offices, municipalities, you get the day off. Everybody else, it's a regular day. We all still go to work. Well, I guess I work no matter what, but I'm working from home talking to you guys, so it doesn't feel like work. This part of it doesn't feel like work. Okay, what else? Well, I am still, I guess, repacking totes and things. My husband hasn't packed anything yet. He's just been putting stuff up for sale and dealing with all of that, which is fine, I guess, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with all the people on Facebook Marketplace and all the questions that they ask when it's right there in the listing. No, I'm just always leery of doing that. Like my husband had the people that were buying my car meet him at the police station in town because he knew it would have cameras. I'm just a little leery, especially when you're talking vehicles. That can be a chunk of change that people may not want to carry around in cash or even a cashier's check. And after watching some scary videos, he watched a video not too long ago. I forget, I want to say it was in Ontario, but that could be the wrong province. Some lady this guy had a Porsche for sale. So she went over supposedly to look at it. And then as she was going to take it for a test drive, the person selling it somehow got out of the car. I don't know for what reason. And she basically tried to run off with the car to steal it and ran them over. And in watching the video, I don't know how that person survived. That was scary. You just never know. So I wanted him to be careful. And it turned out fine. The people were very nice. It was nothing like that at all, but you just never know. The biggest reason that my mind is kind of all over the place today, I got to remember to keep diamond painting. I haven't diamond painted much this week and it helps. You guys know that I've been having some health issues and I was referred to a specialist. I saw the specialist this week and I saw the nurse. And basically, I was thinking they were just going to give me some medication and be like, it's not too terrible. We're going to put you on some medication. Here's this, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not what happened. Basically, I needed to have a biopsy, which is a very, very, very scary word. She told me lots of things, and I asked some questions. I don't know how much of it I retained. I should have had my husband come into the appointment with me, but I did not. After they tell you that, at least for me, part of my brain just stopped functioning. You're just so focused on that word and what it could mean. So, okay, that's the next step. What do I do? Well, go out and schedule an appointment. And I said, okay, well, how quickly is this going to happen? And she said, it just depends on the schedule, what the doctor's schedule is, because he will be the one that actually does the procedure. Okay. So they did a little bit more blood work because they wanted to look at something else. So I went out to the receptionist desk and said, I need to come back. And she said, okay. And I'm thinking, when I originally made the appointment with this specialist, it was supposed to be in like January or something. That was because it was at a office local to me. And I traveled into the larger city where his main office is and was able to get an appointment much faster, which was where I was at earlier this week. So then I went in and I said at the receptionist desk, after I had my blood work done, I said, okay, I need to come back for a biopsy. And she says, okay, let me look at the schedule. Can you be here at 10 o'clock tomorrow? And I was initially a little taken aback, but then said, sure, because I figured just get it over with, right? Get it over with, figure out what's going on, and then see what next steps are. I'm feeling okay about it. Everything so far, all the testing that they have done, the radiology testing that they have done, people looking at it have said it doesn't appear concerning, other than the nodule that I have is large and could, while it doesn't appear from the blood work that they've done to be interfering with any function of anything, it's just large. So something may need to be done. I don't know if it will need to be addressed surgically, if it's something they can do in other ways with medication or something else. I don't know. And of course, they don't want to tell you anything until they have a definitive answer back, which I understand, but also is not helpful to someone who basically now I get to wait a week, week and a half for the results and wonder and be anxious and panic and just I'm having a really hard time focusing on anything. I find myself standing in a room with a dozen different thoughts running through my head, not even necessarily about my health, just the timing is terrible because we are hopefully close to moving and what does this look like if we move in the middle of things? And I mean, I could, like I said before, if something needs to be done, regardless of what the outcome is, positive or negative, whether it is benign or not, I'm assuming that they're going to want to somehow surgically address it, which means I get referred to yet another specialist because the specialist I'm seeing now doesn't do surgery. I would get referred to another specialist for that, which just means that everything is going to take even longer because specialists never have quick appointments. Although I guess I shouldn't say that because I did get in to see this specialist pretty quickly. So maybe if I cross my fingers that everything will go just as smoothly with the next specialist I need to see. But the procedure itself was not fun. I am not a fan of needles in the first place. When I get blood drawn, I don't mind them doing it, but I can't watch the needle. That freaks me out. So we were joking with the doctor, of course, because I share that with everyone. You can think I'm a big baby if you want, but I feel like it's better for them to know that. So then if I have some sort of reaction that they're not expecting, they know why. And also, you should be nice to people who have phobias. Anyway, no anesthetic, which I was warned about, but 4 pokes, which was not fun, especially given the location. It is still several days later angry and bruised. So having that done actually made it feel worse. Before that, I was actually feeling okay. And I don't feel bad, but yeah, just now sort of a generalized low-key anxiety about everything. The move and finances and my health and just, all that stuff you worry about on a daily basis now feels like this giant mountain that I don't know how to get over or around. Please send positive vibes and thoughts because I could use them right about now. I'm trying to be upbeat and not assume anything negative. It's not the end of the world. It's the not knowing. I think that's the scariest part. Once you know what the problem is, then you can start figuring out solutions, right? What do I need to do next? What are my next steps? How do I get from A to B? But until you know what's going on, it's really hard to figure that out. And it's hard to kind of set in that limbo. I think that's the whole thing is I feel like I'm stuck in this constant state of limbo and I'm trying to keep myself busy. I don't know, a bit like Sisyphus, just pushing that rock up the hill and then having to do it all over again. I mean, I'm keeping busy, we're packing, we're selling, we're donating, I'm going through things, but none of it feels real yet, if that makes any sort of sense. I don't know if it does or not, but that's kind of how I feel. So yeah, things on the health front, while they're not terrible, could be better. I would really like for this giant bruise left after the procedure to go away. Them poking the nodule with a needle just made it flare up and inflame even more. Now there's a visual reminder of it, which really wasn't there before. I have bruises all over my arms as well from all the times previously that I've had to be prodded and poked for blood work and lab work and ultrasounds. There is a bright spot, and that has been that a lot of the testing has been covered. So far, I owe a whopping $4 and some odd cents to the lab that did a bunch of the blood work. And I owe something like $200, I think, for all of the previous doctor visits and scans. I don't think my second ultrasound has been processed yet, but everything else has, including my CT scan. Of course, there'll be more bills coming through because now I have more blood work with this specialist, and I'll have the biopsy with him that will be something I have to pay for as well, and then whatever the referral is or whatever needs done next steps, that I'm sure will be more money out of my pocket. So once we get an answer, I have some things to consider about our finances and how we want to do things and stuff like that. So those will be some decisions that we need to make down the line after we have some answers as well. The nurse did tell me if it did turn out to be nothing, which is what they think, but they always want to, we think it's this, but they don't want to ever give you any absolutes. Anyway, they might want to just monitor it if it's not really bothering me, which it really isn't physically. They seem to think it should be interfering with certain things, and it isn't. If I don't need any surgical intervention, that would be awesome. I don't personally think that's going to be what happens, but I'm not a doctor, so I guess we'll see. And I missed that one in there. And this is a circumstance, guys, where I'm going to be a rebel, and I'm just going to put that one there because that's one drill in a sea of drills you'll never even notice. Just because I'm too lazy to get that color back out just for one drill. Because I'm probably going to move over to this bottom section here so I can do some more of that red. So let me move everything over a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I want to focus on kind of finishing this red down here, and then I can start filling in this gray section again. Okay, now you can see kind of where, so like this whole side section is done. All of this down here was done except for this red, because like I said, I thought I was going to have more fairy dust drills to use, but I don't. So, okay, I spent a few minutes pulling out some trashy red drills because there's a lot of reds in this kit, and a couple of them are just pretty trashy. A lot of misshapen drills, that sort of thing, tabs, rough edges. So, having to spend some time picking through those as I work. I try to do it all, like dump a bunch of drills in my tray and then pick them all out first, so that what's left in my tray is just good drills. But it still feels like I'm spending way more time than I want to picking out bad drills. Anyway, okay, so I think that's everything that I wanted to tell you about my regular life. So let's move on to my diamond painting life. What's going on in my diamond painting life? Well, real life has taken up quite a bit of time. So like I said, I didn't diamond paint a whole lot this week between the roof issues and doctor's appointments and packing and sorting and all of that. I just didn't get a whole lot done. I am still working on things, obviously. So you saw the video of the finish of the Halloween gnome. I did finish that. So that's another finish for me this year. I should finish this one because I really just have kind of the wreath of this left. I mean, I've got some reds to fill in, obviously, but the majority of this is done. So I think I have another couple of days work on this kit, and then this one will be finished, which means I will then be done with the Diamond Art Club Challenge for this year. So I can have that as another accomplishment, which always makes me happy. After I finished the gnome and after I started on this one, I unboxed the kit that you guys picked. If you want to be in on any future polls, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I do my polls here on YouTube because I have more of you on YouTube than I have in my Facebook group. But if you want to go join the Facebook group, please do that. But I put up another poll. The last kit that you guys picked for me was the Kindred Spirits from Diamond Art Club, the two cats. Had a lot of fun doing that kit. So we'll see how this one goes for me. This is a new to me kit called Conversation from Francesca's Studio Works, and I've heard good things from people about the quality of everything, and it looks like really nice quality, so I'm excited to get started on that. It is the little Halloween witch sitting on a pumpkin talking to a little ghost. Super cute. It's much bigger than I thought it was going to be, which is fine. Not like that's the first time it's happened to me, right? I do that all the time. I mean, I have a spreadsheet where I keep the sizes. I don't know why I'm surprised, but just in looking at the boxes, I just never think they're going to be as big as they are, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's why they sit in my stash so long. I forget how big they are. And then when I get them out, I'm like, ooh, this is a big boy. Anyway, so I unboxed that one and I will be kitting it up ASAP. So you guys will be seeing that as well because I would like to get that one finished because it is Halloween. I would like to get that one finished before the end of the month. I actually considered putting this kit aside in order to work on that one, and I probably would have, except that my pixie dust drills arrived just as I was like, I should probably put this one aside and start working on the other one because I'm already basically halfway through October and I haven't even started on that one yet, and it's pretty big. But I'm just going to lie to myself and say that I can get it all done by the end of Halloween. I probably won't, but I think it has some nice multi-placing in it, so hopefully it will go faster than I think. And it's a round. Rounds always go faster than squares. Not just because the drills are bigger, so there's less drills, but also because they just go faster. For me personally, I just think that round drills are less fiddly. I spend a lot more time with the squares trying to make sure that everything is kind of smushed in together the way it needs to be. All the edges are meeting so that it all looks nice and neat when it's finished. And I just feel like you don't have to fuss with that as much with round drills because they don't have to fit together like that. There's always going to be gaps no matter how much you perfectly place your round drills. So it just feels easier if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully that will go a lot faster once I actually get started on it. Also, as the end of October approaches, that means the beginning of November is approaching, which means that it is almost time for DP for Veterans because that starts on November 1st. So you saw me yesterday unbox the kit that I'm going to be doing for that. I normally try to do for my events, I try to do more than one kit. I don't know if I'm going to accomplish that this year. Again, in another, my eyes are always bigger than my stomach situation, I guess. I thought that gnome was going to be the same size as the Halloween gnome, which was about a 40 by 50, the Halloween one. Nope, the patriotic gnome is like 60 by 80, so it is much, much larger and will take more time. However, it is also around, so I'm gonna say that I will be able to finish it by the end of November. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it fast enough that I will be able to do more than one kit in November, but that's okay. I don't have to do more than one kit. Just because I have done in the past doesn't mean I have to do it this time, especially if we're in the middle of moving and all of that nonsense. So make sure you check out yesterday's video. It had all of the official rules along with a link to the entry form. You do have to fill out the entry and exit forms. Those of you who have already filled it out, thank you very much. I'm excited to see all of the amazing kits that everyone does. You can also join the Facebook group so that you can post progress pics. I love to see people's progress pics and I will post them as well. If you don't have a Facebook or don't want a Facebook and you have an Instagram, then you can follow me there. I will post progress pics and things over there as well. Or if you don't really like having social media accounts but you watch YouTube, then just follow me here. It's all good. I appreciate any and all of that. Okay, so I just have this little bit section of red to finish. I still have some sections, I think, up the sides of red to do, but most of the bunny itself I did, so it's just going to be the grays and whatnot of like the wreath and everything, like I said. So I feel like this one will be finished fairly quickly. And then I can get started on conversation and working on that one, and then I can sometime this week, I will be kitting up both that one and also the patriotic gnome so that I have that one ready to go for November 1st when everything kicks off. We'll just have to see how it goes. This may be more of a low-key event this year because of everything I have going on, and that's okay. I usually do weekly giveaways. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that this time just because I don't know what my situation is going to be, and I don't want to commit myself to saying that I am going to do that and then not being able to. So I'm going to say I'm not going to, and then if it turns out that I'm able to, it'll be a nice, happy surprise, right? So I was telling you about the pixie dust drills. They finally showed up, so I decided to go ahead and complete this kit. The other thing that I wanted to tell you was, oh my gosh, you guys, I don't know why I waited so long to try this. So if you follow the channel at all, you know I absolutely love my glue dots. As soon as I discovered them and could abandon the pink wax, I did so because The pink wax and me just do not get along. I am a hard placer. I pressed so hard that the wax would just splooch out everywhere, and I was constantly refilling my pen, and it was just not a good experience for me. Along came someone saying to use glue dots. I tried them and went, "Where have you been all my diamond painting life?" And I've been using them ever since. While I freely admit they are not for everyone, don't knock it till you try it. There are plenty of people who have said they prefer the pink wax. And if you're not a heavy placer like me, then maybe it doesn't affect you in the same way. Maybe you weren't having the same issues I was. But if you are a heavy placer like me and you get frustrated with the wax, use the glue dots. Now, in my multi-placers, I was using putty because I just trying to roll the glue dots, and I've seen people say that they put them in their multi-placers. I just felt like the putty was so much easier, and I had a ton of it already, so I just thought, no, I'm just going to keep using my putty. The problem with putty is that it is temperature sensitive. So during the summer, for me, or if you live somewhere that it's super hot or humid, the putty can get very gummy and sticky. And while I don't have a lot of problem with it sticking to the drills, occasionally it will, but I usually don't have too much trouble picking it off if it does. But if you get it on the canvas, trying to smear it around and get it picked up off the canvas can be a nightmare. I generally have dealt with it by trying to be super careful and not overload the putty. Or if I feel like it's getting gummy and sticky, I will put it in my refrigerator to chill it and make it more hard so that it's not as gummy and sticky and I don't have as many issues. A while ago, somebody had asked me if I had ever tried glue lines. And I was like, what are glue lines? And no. Well, glue lines are essentially glue dots, but in a line. So instead of laying down little dots of glue, they lay down a little line of glue. So I bought them. I just bought them off of Amazon, and then they sat in my box of stuff to get to forever, and I never got them out. Last week, sometime, a couple weeks ago, I think, I had somebody else ask me in a comment if I'd ever tried the glue lines. They loved them, said I needed to try them. And I told my husband, okay, I do need to get them out. I'm getting ready to pack everything up. If this is going to be something that I want to use rather than the putty, I need to know that now. Then I can pack the putty or toss the putty and have my glue lines with me if that's what I'm going to use. So I took 2 of the 1-inch glue lines and I did like I do with my glue dots. I just kind of rolled them together, almost like Play-Doh between my fingers until it was like a little snake. And then I shoved it in my multi-placer. So I don't think I actually needed 2 because I ended up cutting some off, but I love it. I can't believe I waited so long. It works just like the glue dot. You get that satisfying popping sound when you're placing stuff with the multi-placer. You do have to dirty it up a bit when it's brand new, just like you do a glue dot to get it to work the way that you want it to. If you haven't seen my little tutorial on how I do glue dots in my single placers, I'll stick a link up in the corner to that particular video. But I love it. This has lasted me so long already, over half of this diamond painting. I've not had to do anything to it. It's not leaving any residue on anything. It's not leaving any yucky stuff on my canvas that I'm trying to pick off. They are clear rather than white like my putty. So that makes it nice as well. If it was leaving any residue, it would be clear and it would be glue. So in theory, it should just help stuff stick, not be an issue. But I've not had to clean anything off of my canvas. It's much more temperature stable than the putty. It's glue, no matter how hot it gets. It hasn't seemed to affect it at all. Granted, it's been getting cooler, but it's supposed to be 90 degrees today, so it's not that much cooler yet. It is supposed to start cooling off next week and being more fall-like temperatures all the time, but here we are almost the middle of October and I still have 90-degree days. So yeah, I've been dealing with temperamental putty, and after putting the glue dots in there, like I said, I'm really just kind of kicking myself. Why didn't I do this sooner? I've had them for months. They were just kind of sitting around doing nothing. And they come in the big roll, just like the glued dots do. So I just saw on Instagram, Bella Art has like a container, a little magnetic container. So instead of keeping it in this box and like pulling out the roll that it's on and everything, you can put the roll inside this little 3D printed container, and it's got like a little slot where you pull through so you can pull out the glue dots as you're going to use them and stuff. I don't personally need that, but if you want a little doohickey for that, they have those. It looked fun. But yeah, super kicking myself that I haven't done this before. So if you haven't tried it, you should, because it's amazing and it's working out really well. The other thing, and I think this is the last thing that I wanted to tell you guys, is this. Oh my gosh, I've been blathering for so long. I apologize. I told you my head was all over the place. Anyway, sorry, I forgot what I was saying. I got distracted by the barking dog, and then I was thinking about glue lines, and I'm like, no, I've already talked about glue lines. What was it I wanted to say? It was about the pixie dust drills. So I showed you guys the one that I'm not going to be using because it doesn't really match the dark maroon red that I need. It looks more purple. So I won't be using that one. Even though they're the same DMC, obviously they don't look like the same color. This does not look like that, which is fine. I'll find something else to use them in. It's no big deal. And it's not the fault of the people that sell the pixie dust drills. It's just dye lots. That's how drills work. However, what I like about DP with Sparklers, which is where I bought my pixie dust drills from, is that when you go to look for the pixie dust drills, they give you a range of options for the drills. So for example, my pixie dust drills that are DMC 762, they might work for another DMC number that's close to this color. And so they'll say could also work for this DMC numbers, and then they'll put DMC numbers in parentheses. But I do know that I was like, I should write these down so that if I'm going through and I don't have something that matches the DMC exactly, then I can always go look at their website and see, okay, if I got this set of drills, does it only work for one color? I actually have the thought that when I am done with this kit, I should go back and look at these and like, this is 415, but then I should write on here other numbers, other DMCs that it might be good for, so that when I go to pull them out from wherever I'm storing my specialty drills, my extra spares, my pixie dust, my ABs, whatever, then I can be like, oh, well, yes, it works for this DMC, but do I have this other one? Maybe it would work for that. So I do find their website helpful. And like I said, the one where it doesn't absolutely match, it looks more purple than the deep red than I wanted. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. Would I have preferred that it matched? Yeah. But, and they do tell you on the website that they don't control the dye lots. The manufacturers make the drills, and if something is slightly off as they manufacture one batch to the next, the colors may be slightly off, which is why I save different dye lot colors and put them all in the same bag with the DMC that they were labeled as. And I've had decent luck doing that. If there's been kits that I needed to finish where I ran out of drills, I could go back in and, well, I've got 3 different shades of peach in this one DMC, but of those 3, one of them matches the one that I need, so it's all good. Whereas if I only saved one, it might be like this situation. Well, I need this dark red and that's purple, so that doesn't work. But if you don't want to save your drills, your extra leftover drills, then don't. I have extra projects that I'm going to be using mine for, which is why I save mine. But if you're not doing that and you're not running out of drills, which most drill companies or most diamond painting companies, I think, have gotten down pretty good how many extra drills to provide so that people don't run out. It does happen occasionally that you'll get a bad batch of drills. You'll just have way more trash than anybody anticipated, and so you might run out, but it's not usually a huge problem. Like I said, I'm just too impatient to wait for them to send me the replacement drills, which they would absolutely do. Most of the companies that I buy from would absolutely send me them with no questions asked. I just don't want to have to wait on drills to arrive to finish my kit because I'm impatient, which is why this coming week will be extra hard for me. All right, I want to finish up this color. And then I've just got my last gray pixie dust to put in this flower, and then I've got another little section done. So that's why I think I don't have too much left on this one, because I basically will just have some more flowers in the wreaths as they go around the little bunny, and maybe some more of that maroon red to finish. But other than that, all right, that's the end of that color. So at least for that section. So let me zoom out here. So you can see I've got the sides done, and I've filled in some of the, with the pixie dust drills up here. Now I'm filling in down here. The bunny is in the middle. I've got like his little tummy left to finish, but his face and his little bow and everything is already done. And then I've just got, like you can see right here, the bunny itself is done. I've just got the flowers and everything where that gray goes. And oh, it looks like I don't have any more red. Oh, there's a little bit right there of that red left to do. And then the rest of it is my pixie dust drills. So yeah, I don't think I have too long to go before I'll have this one finished, which will be nice. And then I can move on to the one you guys picked, the Halloween girl. And then after that, hopefully it will be time for DP for veterans. Sorry for all the rambling today, guys. And I thought this would be a short whip and chat and actually turned out to be longer than normal. So apologies. So thanks for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.